Well, welcome into ASN After Dark. I'm Brad Caldwell here, and we got these two rascals right here beside me. And this is something that we're going to be doing along with our content. This will be premium content starting tomorrow, breaking down what happened, like tonight. As tomorrow night, we'll be breaking down what happened during the day. Tomorrow morning, when we start this, we're going to try to start it probably about noon. We'll break down and kind of talk about what's going to happen in the day. We're going to also hit what's going on around the state as well. Any kind of big performances, upsets, anything like that, games of the day. And then, of course, right here in the 3A, we're going to talk about what happened here and the games and players of the day. So let's get started right now. Let's just start with Game 1 and Lamar and Bergman. I think probably the game of the day, wouldn't you say, with the girls' side especially. That game was intense. There was a lot of big atmosphere in here. You know, there for a while it looked like Bergman was going to be able to knock them off, but it just wasn't Bergman's day.
I mean, if you ask me, that was a real tone setter for the whole day. The aura, the feel, the vibe, the tone that they set in the first game of the day, the big rivalry. The gym was full, packed, a lot of commotion. And great basketball, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. To me, it's about the atmosphere first, and then you got to have the on-court come around with it, obviously. And that's what makes a complete, total, whole game experience for me.
Corey Sanders came up big for Lamar, especially at the end. Lamar played I don't know that they played their best game today, but they did at the end. When it came down to it, they needed buckets. Corey did not play her best game today,
right.
But when they needed buckets, it was Corey Sanders that came through, especially at the free throw line.
Yeah, she showed up in a big fashion, especially late down the stretch. She was relentless. Even when she wasn't hitting shots, she was still affecting the outcome of the game, which is something that obviously, as from my coaching eye, my scouting eye that I see, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's definitely got it. You know, that's that next level motor, the next level drive that you need to have. And Corey brought it. She definitely brought it tonight.
Alan, what did you see, Bob?
She gives Lamar someone.
Is he on?
Hot mic.
She gives Lamar someone that can get you a bucket when you need it, and I felt like that's what she did there late, like you said, Brad. And Victor is that she came on late, and she came in there and kind of just took it over late, and Bergman didn't have no answer for her. So when you got a player like that out there, man, it gives you the advantage on that Lamar side.
The experience of Lamar in the state tournament, I think, also came up.
Right.
But, against Bergman's got the experience as well. I mean,
right.
This was as far as the best 1-4 game, one of the best 1-4 games I've seen in a long, long time, and it sure didn't feel like a 1-4 game in this gym.
What I could see from Bergman, though, was they come out of a tough region. That was a 4 seed. It went toe-to-toe with a 1 seed. I mean, right down to the wire, so that just shows you that region over there that Bergman's in.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lamar boys followed up with a victory against Flippin, really kind of cruised to that victory today. And, one of the things I guess that surprised me, Rylan Robbins just didn't have it today for Flippin. That being said, I'm not sure it would have made a huge difference. I mean, Lamar was rolling. They really looked good. They played well. And, Victor, I feel like that Lamar is the most talented team in this tournament.
And to match your sentiments on that, I feel like with the athleticism, the speed, the way that they get up and down, and you have to think that group has been together for quite some time. They have a few young players, and then there's the older guys, and they mesh perfectly. So with what you said, and that goes hand in hand.
So don't get me wrong when I say this, because I know somebody's going to grab a hold of this and say, well, Brad Caldwell said that Lamar's going to win it all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is as far as just player for player, 5 for 5 on the court, in my opinion, Lamar is the most talented team. I feel like Ben Noonan, this is, again, my opinion. And this is what you're watching this for, by the way. This is my opinion, that Ben Noonan is the best player in 3A, in my opinion. Now, can somebody show me wrong? We haven't seen. We've just seen 3 boys teams. Or 6 boys teams and 6 girls teams, 3 boys games, 3 girls games. We could be proven wrong.
Absolutely. I think that what stand out to me about the Lamar game was how Caleb Green was able to just take it over. He missed his first 4 threes. And then talking with him after the game, he hit his next 6, man. So he ended up hitting 18 points, 60% from the three-point line. If he's going to shoot like that, good luck beating Lamar.
Absolutely. Correct. He hasn't had a great year this year. It has been, yeah, just turn the camera. It's gone to sleep. We're going to have to figure that. There you go. That's it. That's all you got to do. Anyway, he has not had his best year at Lamar, but now looking at him playing, I think he's playing a little bit better. It's almost sometimes it's like having too much talent on the floor. When Bowen was on the floor, maybe they did have a little too much talent on the floor, and they needed somebody to come in and be a role player. Maybe that's what it is with Lamar. I guess we'll find out. We've got 2 more games before the Spa City.
And he did add in our conversation, Brad, that this is a shooter-friendly gym, so whoever's got to face Lamar up ahead, you better hope his kid ain't on because he's loving this gym.
Absolutely. So, listen, what we want you to do, we want you to join because you're going to get this content tomorrow as well. We want you to join here. And you know what? Give us a month. That's all we're asking. Give us a month here, and you can get this content. And, hey, look, if enough of you join, we'll give you more content. We'll give you more down the road here. So we want to make sure that you join. Victor, we don't want to go just down the line here. We'll talk about some of the other games that happened. Let's talk about some of the players outside of the Lamar players, guys that you saw that stood out today.
Yeah, so we had Bryson Carver for Lincoln. Although he didn't play his best game today, as some, do. It's first day of the playoffs, middle of the week. You're traveling, you're getting on the road, waking up early, you're getting in here trying to get some shots up. You don't have a gym to shoot around in sometimes. So some of those things can contribute to problems. But Bryson Carver is a very good senior. He plays up-tempo. He plays with pace, downhill. He tries to get to the rim a lot. He gets a lot of paint touches. Whether they end in successful buckets or not, they normally end in successful opportunities, which is at a point what you want more than, just getting downhill and making shots. You want the chance to have good looks at the basket. Bryson Carver gets you that.
What about you, Alan?
Yeah, a lot of the kids there at Riverside that we just interviewed just a minute ago, Brad, I feel like they came out in the first half and talking with their coach last year. They really felt that Elkins loss.
Yeah.
And he thought that had a lot to do. Off the air, of course, he thought that had a lot to do with how they came out tonight. And then when they started getting that lead a little bit there in the second half, they kind of eased up and they were kind of like in that here we go again mode in the first half, and then they kind of settled down. I think this Riverside bunch as a team is going to be really tough.
The Manila bunch, the girls bunch, I like the way they looked today.
Very, very scrappy.
Lucy Farmer was impressive today. I tell you, her game is very smooth, and she's just a sophomore. I remember her from last year. I saw the growth from her from one year to the next. Her and Hadley Goodson are a good tandem there. I felt like that they really had a good physicality about them as well. And, again, we talked about this a lot about how that we felt like they came out of the toughest region that there was on the girls' side, and they were in the conference that wasn't the toughest conference.
Correct.
They were in the other side that everybody was kind of discounting, and then they went and beat Salem, and they went and beat Bergman, and they went to Melbourne and beat Melbourne at Melbourne. I mean, that was unreal. That was a really good.
Great run.
And so here they are now in the state tournament. They won very easily today, and I think they're a team that is one to be watching for.
Absolutely, they get in your face defensively. They smother you. They take you out of rhythm. You've seen that a lot with Manila tonight. They just wouldn't let them get going.
Absolutely.
Kind of just took them out of their game plan. Being down there at court level, you could hear the coach just screaming down there. He was just like, he didn't have an answer. Greenland's coach, he just didn't have an answer tonight for what Manila was trying to do to him.
I tell you, a matchup that I'm looking forward to is one that we had over at the ASN Classic between the Dumas girls. I want to see. Well, the matchup wasn't at the Classic, I guess, but the two teams played in that Classic. But I want to see them match up against each other, which is the Dumas girls and the Dover Lady Pirates.
Come on.
Man.
That's going to be – it could be something. Obviously, we got to get there first.
Correct.
Dumas only 2 losses on the year. Dover now 32-0 on the season. And you want to talk about 3 standout girls with Kenzie McCarty and Keister and Logan Young. I mean, those are just – that tandem of 3 there is unreal. They're really good players. And, Dover has done something that I have not seen in a long time. The dominance that they've had has been pretty phenomenal.
Yes.
The fact of that they're winning at a pace that they are, I think tonight was either the 26th or 27th Mercy rule in the season out of 32 games.
Yikes.
They beat Bentonville up at Gravett, which Gravett basically is Bentonville.
Correct.
I mean, that's big. I mean, that's a big. Now, Did they play the toughest conference? No, they didn't. They didn't. And, that was something that I think people worried about a little bit when it came to putting Dover in this thing. And so they showed well tonight, won big. They basically doubled up their opponent tonight and played very well.
Yes, sir, they did. Logan Young, they're not just one-trick pony. They got a lot,
Right.
like you said, they got several that can go get it. If they can get through this first-round matchup, that's going to be a dandy.
I think the thing between the three ladies that stands out to me is that in high school, you can have what, people call a big three, right? But they don't necessarily mold each other's game or fit each other's game or mirror each other's game the way that these three young ladies do.
Absolutely.
Keister plays off of Mackenzie, and Kinsey plays off of Logan, and it meshes so well and perfect, almost to a T. And like I say, I think that that's going to take them very far. Obviously, as we can tell, they're 32-0. I think that'll push them through Hot Springs, honestly.
I mean, it's very possible, but I will say when you get down into the deeper parts of the tournament, I mean, there are going to have some teams that will be able to match up with them a little bit more.
We discussed this a little bit, Brad, about the pressure. If they get in a pressure situation, I haven't been in a situation, that like that all year. How would they handle that?
Right. And we're going to find out. I mean, like you said, but I think there's a reason why they haven't been in as much of a pressure situation because they're just that good.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to try to bring this to Facebook, by the way, just letting you know what I'm doing here. This is my life here when we do broadcasts. It's like, hey, I'm always having to do something. I'm always having to post something, go back and look at something, whatever. Anyway, tell us about stuff that's going on around the state. Anything that caught your eye today, Victor?
Man, around the state, we had the biggest thing that caught my eye, and it hurt my heart just a little bit, man. Brinkley got upset in the 1A conference. And it was something that a lot of people were kind of on edge about as far as saying, don't come in here and sleep on these guys. Don't come in here and sleep on these guys. Don't come in here and sleep on these guys. And I wouldn't say that necessarily they slept on them. I'd say that a bunch of things didn't go their way, and that's just basketball. I mean, you got one game to win it. It's playoff time. It's time to, survive in advance. If you don't, you're going to be on the other end of that bucket looking sad.
And I think we can look at some stuff. I mean, we've been busy up here today, so it's hard to tell you exactly what happened around the state. But we want to talk about top performances in the state, anybody that stood out. We'll talk about that. We'll kind of do our research here tonight and kind of look into that and see how that went. Anything that stood out to you, big takeaways from today?
I was down on the court all day, but I was trying to keep up with it. That Brinkley, I think that's going to be the shocker of the day as far as what was most talked about down there.
Yeah.
Because of just the magnitude, 1 seed, 4 seed. And the way they lost it, man, they lost it in a what was it, about 2 points victory in a high-scoring affair. So it's kind of like they couldn't stop. Who was it? Wichita Christian? Is that who it was? Ridgefield Christian out of Jonesboro.
Yes,
so and Ridgefield Christian give CRA all they wanted in the what was it, the regionals?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're a good basketball team.
Ridgefield Christian also has a 6'5" Evan Ellenberg over there to, kind of a spot-eye player if you want to check him out for sure.
Yes, sir. That's out of that Martree conference. Again, that's just a tough conference, man.
Right.
It's just top to bottom. Earl, Martree, Ridgefield Christian, CRA, they're all in it.
One of the things that I'm looking forward to just around the state, and I'm definitely a guys basketball fan, but one of the things I'm kind of looking forward to is seeing a possible Pulaski Academy girls versus D Queen or versus Nashville, however that kind of floats out there, kind of how that figures. That right there is going to be one heck of a matchup. When you look at 4A and the girls' side, I've talked to several people, and they've told me, they said, it's those three and everybody else.
Yep.
It's those three and everybody else. And today, D Queen did beat Pottsville today, 69-45. I want to give Pottsville a shout-out. I'll call them all year long. They won the 4A4. They ended up losing their last 3 games, dropped one to Shiloh Christian in the regional semifinals, and then the third-place game dropped one to P. Ridge, who ended up winning that conference. And then, of course, they ended up getting the 4 seed. And what do you get? Congratulations, you get D Queen first round. And but anyway, Coach Chance Johnson did a great job there at Pottsville with that team. He come back and started coaching them again. He's been out for about 6 to 7 years. come back. First year he comes back, they make the state tournament. So, in fact, if I was to name a 4A Coach of the Year, it would have to be between he and Becky Yarbrough.
Yeah.
It's hard to go against Becky Yarbrough
Right.
because she, what is she, 34-0, whatever she is right now. But he's got to be right up there with her.
For sure.
So, anyway, well, listen, guys, this is what we're going to do for the next few days. You need to be a premium member to be a part of this. We're going to talk about more things as time goes on. Today, we're pretty tired. I mean, this first day is always rough because we're trying to get things together. And one thing we're going to do, we're going to fix that camera there and get it to quit doing that.
Yes, sir.
But we're tired today. We want to go home and we want to check in. But tomorrow we'll be back up here. We'll try to get things going about 12 o'clock. Again, you got to be a premium member to be a part of the pregame and then a part of the postgame. And we do appreciate you joining us here on ASN After Dark. I guess ASN Before Dark, I don't know, tomorrow. Anyway, we appreciate you joining us here. We're going to talk about things around the state, players here in 3A and beyond, and just looking forward to talking some sports and some high school ball right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. So make sure you tune in, stay with us tomorrow, and we'll be back in the morning.
Subscribe and join. Don't just subscribe.
That's
Don't
it.
just join. Subscribe and join. You'll get all this great content and more tomorrow.
Absolutely. Get signed up so you don't miss a thing right here on ASN.
All right, we're out. We'll see you tomorrow.